Hey, welcome back. And if it's your first time here, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about 6 mistakes to avoid when starting your garden or gardening in general. So, my first one, and it was the biggest mistake I made, is not being aware of the sunshine. So, making sure that the location where you put your garden has sufficient light for your fruits and vegetables and flowers. As the season went along, I didn't watch where the trees were growing. So half of my garden ended up being in partial shade for most of the day, which a lot of my plants on that side didn't succeed because they weren't getting enough sunlight. So really being aware of the amount of sun you get all day is important for specific fruits and veggies that you're growing. It doesn't mean I can't grow anything there. I'm just gonna grow shady vegetables. But I had like peppers, I had strawberries. I got one pepper, I got one strawberry that a cat ate. And yeah, the cherry tomatoes did good there, but I won't put strawberries or peppers there again. They need full sun. The second mistake I made, this one I really didn't make, but it's something that I think people, they underestimate, and it's having really healthy soil. So when we first got the space, there was so much junk in there. Like we really cleaned it up, and then we just put in a lot of healthy soil and compost in there. You hear my cat? To make sure that we have a good foundation for our garden. I helped my mom a lot with her garden, and one of the things that I found really helped her garden thrive, and at the school I was a volunteer at the kids garden, was dropping compost in the garden, because that really made the fruits and veggies and flowers really flourish, and it made a difference. And I noticed that with my mom's garden, she was using all types of like Miracle Grow and pesticides. And I was like, oh my God, you cannot use these things. Like you might as well buy conventional, right? And I started putting compost in her garden, and that really made the soil a lot healthier. And I was more comfortable eating those vegetables because they were organically grown. But with the kids garden, it was sort of a hands-off, like we would, it was parents, volunteers. We would go in there. We would drop the compost about 6 weeks before we started putting seeds in, or our seedlings. And I thought, oh my gosh, the school garden did so well. And it was very hands-off. They did have an irrigation system, but I thought, oh my gosh, this was so easy. So part of that was the really healthy soil that the garden had, and compost really helps with that. I'm a big fan. I think that's why, although I didn't have enough sun in my garden, those plants still gave me like 1 or 2 fruits because it had a really nutritious base to come from. Then the next one is not researching the things you want to grow. Like you gotta do a little bit of research so that you have an idea of how to best take care of them. And also really to know if it's going to be successful or if it's not going to work. Like make sure you're checking your zone to see. So like that, you have more successes, and don't get discouraged with your fails. My fourth tip would be is if you're starting from seed, to start them as early as you can. You want to go, I remember doing it 6 to 8 weeks, and I wasn't like far enough, and that's where a lot of my failures happened. And I also didn't have like a grow light setup, which I'm really so happy with this setup. And when you're starting seeds, you really need them have light over them. I tried doing it in the window, it didn't work. They need some type of light to be successful. Now, once you've started your seeds, you want to make sure that you started them early enough. I was super excited to bring them out, and I brought them out April 16th, and like there was still cold days, 35 at night, that I didn't start them early enough, and they were these small little seedlings in like 35 degrees, and I didn't cover them or anything. So that's where a lot of my failures happened last year in my little garden. But if you doing seeds, you want to make sure you're starting them early enough. At least not bring them out so soon too. If you gotta wait a few more weeks to bring them out so it's warmer and they're bigger, make sure you do that and don't do what I did and bring out these little baby seedlings and like, oh, expect the best. My fifth tip is really, you research your seed, right? You know what the needs are. You want to make sure you're watering it enough. So whatever that is, and you know, certain tips and tricks, like for tomatoes, you want to make sure that your tomato plant leaves aren't on the soil because it causes disease. When you want to water the base. You don't want to put water on top. You know, you also want to water early so the water dries up with the sun and it doesn't sit on the plant, which could cause disease. So making sure that your watering setup is best for you. So I was doing it initially with a little like 2-gallon watering can, and I was like, this is annoying. I got a hose. The hose it down, you know. But make sure that it's an easy way for you to do it. I don't have that big of a garden, so it's not like I need an irrigation setup or anything like that. But you want to make sure you put in the work of growing your seeds, that they have enough water. It's really important. And my sixth tip is just to be realistic. I had so many fails. Like, I was really heartbroken with my seedlings that didn't work, my leggy seed. Like, and mind you, I did my research and all that, but I also was like, I'm gonna do what I want. And I do suffer from that a little bit. Like, I'm gonna just do what I want or experiment. And a lot of those things didn't work out. So, but do not be discouraged, right? It's a process. And I just think, I was really sad and I could have given up, but I was like, well, first of all, I don't want to show my kids, like, I'm this quitter. But guess what? My seeds didn't work out. My seedlings didn't work out. I went to the garden center and I bought me some plants. Some, you know, grown plants. And that's how a lot of the fruits and vegetables came from plants I bought from the garden center. I like doing the seedlings because it's so much cheaper. You could get an envelope of organic seeds for like $3. I mean, you're usually getting a seedling plant for like $4, just one plant, right? Well, usually there's like 2 in there, but versus seeds, you could grow so much more for so much less. So I do like growing them from seeds, but guess what? If your seedlings didn't work out, you could buy the plant and it'll be more closer to the time that you could put them out. So it's not like the end of the world. I mean, almost everything died. Only thing that I really grew from seed was my heirloom tomato, which like gave me like 1 tomato that when I went to go pick, it was huge, it was beautiful. I was waiting for it to get ripe. When I picked it, I dropped it. So I was like, oh my God. But you know, it was there. I know it was there. And actually towards the end of the season, my tomato plant went into the neighbor's yard. And like, I don't know what it is on that side, but like it was flourishing, okay? So those are just some of my 6 tips to have a successful garden. And if you like this video, make sure you like and share and subscribe. And so yeah, let us know what mistakes you have made in the garden. I've made plenty. This is just my short list.